So we've done that. That's the program. We've done that, and we told them again we want to do it this year, and we're still waiting for them to send out. They have the list. They know who's delinquent. We don't, and they will charge us. I think it's like $8 a subpoena. No big deal. Pay it. You know, we'll pay that, and then go ahead and bring these people in. And you know, but the thing is, like, and I know what you're talking about, man, too, is because it used to be you were embarrassed if you had to go in there and pay those taxes. You know, you didn't want, you were walking in there like this, I don't want anybody to see me. But now, they don't even show up. So then you have to go after them, you have to find them and go after them. And that's what they don't do really well. Finding people and tracking them down. Yeah.
What our schools, what does the lotto and our gambling casinos pay into our schools?
Goose, donut, nada, nothing. Niente. Yeah. Nothing. That's another sore subject. The casinos, you know, the horseshoe, again, and this was decided by the county council and the current executive. All that money went to Cleveland. Okay, all of it. $4 million went to Playhouse Square, so we could have a chandelier with sparkly, reflective things that will withstand a 100-mile-an-hour hurricane wind. Gotta love that, right? When was the last time we had a hurricane in Cleveland? Okay, so they got $4 million. $1.5 million went to the redevelopment of the East Bank of the Flats, and the other $1.5 million went for the Dominion property for downtown housing, because remember, those millennials all got need a place to live. So the suburbs, because the county council and the executive don't think that people from suburbs gamble at the horseshoe. They think it's all Clevelanders coming down there to gamble. I don't know what they think. I mean, it's very unfair, and I know, you know, this next year we're going to get screwed again because they're not going to give us, none of the suburbs are getting money. They're supposed to, they're saying they're going to give it to us a year after.
So in that regard, if it was advertised that the cities would receive something from all these casinos and for this going on, so do the cities not have some type of recourse, or isn't there some type of channel that this stuff can get escalated so that we are actually benefiting? Because it makes no sense.
Well, we don't have any.
It's communicated that the cities would benefit.
Yeah, we don't have any recourse against how the executive or the county council votes to give the money, other than to not vote for them the next time they run for office and say, you know what you did wasn't right. You should have given us some of that money.
Nothing, I mean, what about petitions? There's no kind of way that this constituents can...
We went down there. I mean, the mayors and managers association and other elected officials went down to some of these meetings and told them, we need that money. We need a piece of it, some of it. I mean, you shut down our internet cafes that were the bingo parlors of the 21st century. Those things didn't bother anybody. We didn't even have any problems there with crime or anything. You know, pizza, chips, soft drinks, coffee, playing, you know, sweepstakes on the computers. What's the big deal? But, you know, they come in, they shut it down. Why? Well, you know, the more popular opinion is because the individuals who own the casinos were making the political donations to the law enforcement, elected prosecutors and attorney generals that are given the order to shut them down. You know that saying in the Bible about no man can serve two masters because he will cling to one and hold to the other? There you go. So, yeah, we lost a couple $100,000. We had internet cafes in Maple Heights. Other cities, our neighbors had. We're all going now.
I mean, but the internet cafes came at some point, so they went away based on this.
They shut them down.
What does it take to, I mean, this is what this is all about, to mobilize people. So I can't believe that we don't have a voice and we can't change something. And it's just a matter of maybe some task force need to be created in the city, that not just the mayor going down, but the mayor with a bunch of constituents from the community going down, or, you know, having the petitions or something to say, hey, we need to resurrect this. We need to stop just falling down and saying, okay, you took our money away, okay, we'll go running away and go in fiscal what? It doesn't make any sense, because there's too much money going on in the community in Cuyahoga County that we shouldn't be benefiting in some kind of way, but we keep bowing down and saying, okay, well, you know, we're not gonna get it, so we're done.
I mean, I don't bow down to any county official, I can tell you that.
Excuse me, Mayor, could you
Yeah.
repeat the question? They couldn't hear
The question of
whatever she asked.
about getting involved or getting energized or getting, you know, mobilized to get people together to go down to the county and protest, or you can write letters, you can make phone calls. Our county council rep is Burnell Jones here in Maple Heights. You can let, although he's outgoing, the executive Edmund Fitzgerald know. You know, I met with Mr. Budish, I met with Mr. Schron, they're both running for executive. They know of our dilemmas and our feelings and what we're experiencing, so they're aware of it. Whether or not one of them is going to win, whether or not they'll do anything about it, we'll wait to see, but they are aware of what this other government, this current government has done to us, because I've told them both, it hurt us. It's hurt us, it hasn't helped us. Street repairs will occur when? Swimming pool closing, why? Okay, street repairs, we did resurface 3 streets this year, Applegate, Milan, and Fairway. The next big project with street road repairs is Libby Road.
Yeah.
Libby Road's going to be resurfaced from Northfield all the way to Lee Road. Complete, curb to curb.
Streets are so bad.
They are, and we,
Terrible.
they are, and we have applied and will continue to apply for the block grant funds because they are a highly scored and rated project. That's how we paid for Applegate. Well, we didn't pay, it came through a block grant. So we will continue to apply for those grants to pave side streets. We know there's a lot of them out there that haven't seen repaving in 20 years or longer. We do know that.
Since you were my counselor.
Yeah. Again, you're going to figure out how old I am here. The swimming pool issue, we did not open the pool this year, and I can tell you no one feels more badly about that than I do, because we had 2 swimming pools that were closed and abandoned for years that we couldn't even reactivate, and we had to tear them both down. And we did open a new swimming pool with, you know, a kiddie water park, and you know, unfortunately, and again, this is a generational thing or whatever, the numbers every year from 2009 have gone down significantly. The pools have not been used. The pool has not been used the way that it was intended to. In fact, the first year did not allow daycares, but by the last year, which was last year, we did allow daycares because they basically saved us. So if things turn around here with, if the levies pass and we can keep the cameras, we're going to open the pool next year.
There's been no official declaration in my neighborhood about the discontinuation of the recycle bag. Is it official that we don't set it out anymore?
You can still set it out if you like. It's going to go in with the rest of the trash and be commingled, and it'll go back to their facility, and they will try to get some of it. At least, you know, they do have some recycling in their building that they, like I said, they have a conveyor, they have hand pickers, magnets, things like that. But the majority of it is going to go into the scrap pile, and they're going to make methane out of it. But if you have the bags, you can still use them.
Yeah, we got something among ourselves, but we never had an official declaration. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, a question about the recycling. Since the city is planning to take that recycling money and spend it for general expenses according to the fiscal recovery plan, then why would residents trust the city to keep the supposed money set aside for the senior center to only be spent for the senior center, considering we're already planning to take their trash money and spend it on something else?
Well, the only one that isn't trusted is you. And you got a lot of nerve asking me a question like that, because you know the answer.
Right.
Because you're on council. Okay? That money, and we do a lot of this work associated with this waste management contract, and you know that. You know all the calls that come into the building, we handle them. Service departments, secretaries, laborers, we do some of that work. So that money isn't like going somewhere, it's being used. Our city does use, and we do work associated to rubbish. Whether or not anybody wants to believe that, we empty rubbish from the parks, from the city buildings. Our service department, as I said earlier, we do go out and have to deal with rubbish on the weekends. So that money is being used legally, logically, morally, ethically. There's no quick change going on here, folks.
So you mean, you charge the residents for garbage pickup and recycle pickup, and that's what we pay for.
Right.
But then you decide that, well, we can save some money if we cut out the recycles, and we'll put that in the general fund, and your moral okay with that is because you have city people go out to the parks and pick up garbage?
It's more than going out to parks, as I said. Now you tell me, how much do you pay for recycling? Do you even know?
I have no idea.
Okay, well then why don't you find out and then come back and ask the question, knowing,
Mayor, I don't think
you
you should
tell
insult
me,
people
no, I'm
like that. I don't
asking
think you
one
should
person
insult
at a
people like
time, so just pull your jets, Mr. Brown.
But no matter if it's $1 out of the money we pay or if it's $5 out of the money we pay, we're still told that it's going to go for recycling. And it wasn't a vote, it wasn't anything, it was your decision or council's decision that, guess what, even though you paid for it, we're not going to use it for that because we want to use this money elsewhere.
And I just told you what we're using it for. We are using it
But weren't you
for
picking up that
rubbish
garbage
related.
Weren't you picking up that garbage in the
Yeah,
parks
we
and
were
all the
eating
other
it,
places?
and we were eating it and going into debt. That's how we got into debt.
Okay, so just like this gentleman said, if we vote on this levy to keep this building in place, and you decide that, well, you know what, we need to keep this other building in place, well, we're going to use this money to keep that building running.
No, you're losing me here. When we pass when we pass police and fire levies, that's in a special line item fund that only goes for police and fire. That's where it goes. It's in a line item fund. That's where it goes. So that levy money, if it passes for this building, is going to be in its own fund to be used for this building.
Okay.
By law, by ordinance, which Webster's defines as
Because I
law.
paid for garbage, that's not in its own fund?
Yes, it is, but when we pick up rubbish, like I said, these are just related expenses that are legal. The state of Ohio has okayed this, the auditor's office has okayed this, that when you, as a city, your workers are picking up rubbish, you can charge that to the solid waste fund because that's the task they're performing. Rubbish. They're not patching a pothole or picking up leaves. They're picking up rubbish. So that is a legal, logical expense. And they are recycling at Waste Management. Whether you want to believe it or not, I know people believe what they believe, see what they see. They do recycle at their facility.
So you mean to tell me when we were putting it in those blue bags and they were picking it up with those separate trucks, that recycle wasn't any different than if we just throw it in with our garbage and they throw it on a conveyor belt?
I'm sure you made it a little bit easier for
Why are you
them.
saving money from cutting that out?
We're not cutting it out, they're still picking it up.
They're picking up all the garbage, but they're cutting out the extra pickup with the extra truck that we put in the blue bag.
Yeah, and then it goes back to their facility where it's dumped on the floor and pushed around and moved around,
But
and
there had to
plastic
be
and
a savings
glass.
for you to do that, correct?
There's a savings?
There had to be, because you
No,
wanted,
there's a savings for them because they don't have to send out a separate truck.
right, so that's why you cut it out, because you wanted to save that money.
Okay, 10% of the people in the city, 10% were recycling, 10%. That's really kind of a joke, you know? Okay?
Then give us a refund.
There is no refund to give, you're still picking it up, okay? It's a matter of economics. If you don't understand it, I'm sorry, I can't make you learn. They're still picking it up. They're still picking up the recyclables and it's going back to their facility. You want me to move on? Yeah. Okay, thank you.
It'll be out all day.
Why are we the only city who does not use, here we go, the recycling program? Kimball and others, suburbs generate funds. Again, okay, 10% of our residents recycle, that was it, 10%, that was all. And we do have bins around the city. The churches have bins, the library, they're all over. I mean, we're trying to continue to recycle. But again, the recycling does go back to the transfer station, to the landfill, and they are recycling some of it. They're probably recycling even a lot more of it because they're probably getting more than 10% now because people are throwing it in all together. And methane gas is defined by the Ohio EPA as a recyclable fuel. It is.
Mayor?
Mr. Mayor?
Yeah. Yes.
I know the city of Mayfield Heights, people take their own trash and take it and put it in bins away from the property. It's not picked up by trucks.
Oh, there you go. That's happening in other cities. Thank you. The financial recovery plan estimates a $1,585,000 surplus in 2015 without the recovery plan items. Why do we need the levies? Well, I got to look into that because I'm not sure we were having $1.5 million surplus in 2015, but that would be great news if it's true.
Yeah, really.
How much money will be enough? Remember the Back to the Future movie, the 100,000 gigawatts or whatever? I don't know. What's a gigawatt? How much money? To get us out of this, we had a deficit last year of $1.5 million, this year of $1.5 million. We're probably paid a lot of that down, some of it down anyway. You know, our expenses are way, way down, so I don't know, a few $1 million maybe to get us out of this. When is Majestic Steel scheduled to move to Maple? And is the whole business or part? What area, where are they moving to? They're moving to Rockside Road. I believe it should be happening sometime soon. I wish I had an exact date, but it was their entire work operation. Does Maple Heights receive any money from the area casinos? Covered that. The answer is no. How has the number of rentals increased in Maple Heights in proportion to homeowners? Well, CMHA Section 8 renters or rentals are probably close to 800 by now. There's probably another 500 or so maybe other types of rentals that some we know about, some we don't know about. I mean, you know, we live in a society that it's like if you get here's a sore subject, traffic ticket, what do? You pay it. You have a rental property, you register it with the city. We have a rental ordinance and we require the landlords or property owners to register their tenants and register their properties. Unfortunately, they're not all law-abiding citizens and they all don't do that. So when we catch them, the fees are usually triple and we make sure we send them a message not to do this again. So I would say out of the 10,000 or 12,500 homes and the 800 CMHAs, 500, we probably have, and I'm just rounding it, 1,300 rentals, maybe a few more. But it's growing. I can tell you that inner ring suburbs are cash cows for investors. And they're not all from Cleveland. They come from New Jersey, Florida, Canada. They're from all over the globe, folks. They buy 20, 30 homes. They buy them cheap. We make them fix them up, and then renting's the name of the game. You know, if you can get $1,000, $1,200 a month rent electronically right into your account every month, you got 30 homes, that's some pretty good change coming in. So I have one more question here on a card and then I'll take some of these hands. If you can't cut mayor's salary midterm, how can the city
There we go.
cut only the collection of the recyclables garbage after we already paid for it? Well, like I said, state law requires elected officials, all elected officials' salaries cannot be cut for that elected official in their midterm. They can be adjusted for the next term when someone else is elected or whoever is elected to that seat. Ma'am in the, right, yeah, right there. Oh, you want to go first, sir? Okay, go ahead. Steve, right,
Okay,
Steve?
Mr. Mayor, would you kindly explain to us how it is that the government in Columbus, 4 years ago, when they went in and Mr. Kasich took over the government of this state, and we received help from the federal government that helped us in a great way, and we were doing just dandy, and all of a sudden, Mr. Governor Kasich decides that he's going to balance the budget. In order to do that, he's going to cut people all over across the entire state of funding that they would normally get, and hence we got cut. And because of that, and because of his action, we are in the situation we are now. How is it that Governor Kasich can justify putting us on a fiscal watch when he was totally responsible for the whole fiscal? How does he justify that?
Well, the only flaw in your statement was the governor didn't put us on fiscal watch, the state auditor's office did. That would be Mr. Yost. His office put us on fiscal watch. But you're right, as I stated, the governor did make these cuts. It was $1 million to Maple Heights, every city, every village, every township. He is of the mindset that this is all of our problems and we must solve them. There is no help coming from anyone, county, state, federal government. There's no cavalry coming, it's on us. He has said openly, raise taxes. Raise taxes. That's what he tells elected officials or their constituents, residents. You need that money, raise taxes. And you know, I get it, you know, there's only so much you can ask for. There's so many times you can go back and ask for more money because I know a lot of people don't have it. You know, we're a shrinking middle class. A lot of us live pay to pay. We have kids, families, children, obligations, mortgages, you know, college tuitions, all those things. You know, we sometimes just don't have it. So we have to either look at raising revenue another way or making all those cuts and adjustments, which is what we've been doing. But yeah, that seemed very unfair. We all took the hit, all of us together. Ma'am, did you have a question?
No,
okay. Oh, thank you.
Alex.
Well, you don't get to talk tonight. You're talking.
I got a question that really called into me quite a bit.
Okay.
When was the last levy that the residents approved in Maple Heights? What year was that?
I believe that was February of 07. Oh, 6. It was in 2006. I missed it by 1 year. It was an income tax hike from what, 2 to 2.5? Yeah, that was February. I remember going to vote. It was very cold and very frigid. So.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I'd just like to say, we've been residents here for 50 years. It's always been a beautiful city. It still is a beautiful city. And we've always felt safe in our city because the fire was there, the police was there. People were taking care of us. I never had to use the ambulance, and I called it a number of times for my next door neighbor before she passed away. They were always right there, very professional, very caring. I think most of you have had your values devaluated on the house, so you're paying a lot less taxes than you were before. For most of you, it probably wouldn't be that big of amount that you would have to. You know, we had a chart that said if your house was 50 or 60,000, it would be $10 to $15 a month. We requested when they devalued our house to Please keep it the same. Our city can't afford this. Told them what we had in the house. They kept it the same. For us, it would be $50 a month. We have a tight budget too. We kind of, we're on Social Security. We don't have a lot of income. But our city deserves this. We need to keep our city safe. We need to keep our fire and police there and help us when we need it. Nobody knows that you're going to have a stroke tomorrow and you need that police fire ambulance there right away. I just ask all of you, think about it very seriously. We really need this money for our city. And I don't think they're wasting our money. Of course, everybody wastes a little bit. You buy something this year and next year you say, why did they waste money on that? That happens every place. But it's not a lot. Our city, I think, has been very careful with their money. Please consider increasing, voting for this. I can't even say it. I just want to know, do we have to be a part of RITA, R-I-T-A?
Before I moved to Lakeville, I lived in Lakewood. When I lived in Lakewood was part of RITA, and the last year or two that I was there, they stopped being affiliated with RITA, and we found that they handle things more efficiently and better, got the money easier.
Well, good question, excellent point. We do have two options. We could collect it ourselves if we had the additional bodies in the finance department, which currently we don't, but maybe in the future we might. But we are looking into other types. RITA isn't the only game in town. They do have some competitors, so we were going to and have already had some discussions with them about taking over because RITA really isn't doing the job for us and hasn't for some time.
I'm just wondering, what's the point in raising taxes if it's not going to be collected and given?
Right. Exactly. Any questions from, yes, ma'am?
I have a question and a statement, and I'm probably not going to make a lot of friends with my statement, but the question in regards, just to reiterate, one of the questions related to the cameras and making sure that that gets published. You mentioned it would be published on the website to kind of see some of the statistics. Because I think it would be beneficial to know, we've got, about a 2-mile stretch through on Broadway through our city and the same on Warrensville, Northfield. So there's not a lot of distance that goes through our city. Now, I've driven down Broadway. My daughter just graduated last year, but I've driven down Broadway and I've watched the speeders going up and down. As a matter of fact, I hate to admit it, and police chief don't know who I am, but
I'll tell them where you I know.
But I've sped quite a bit down that street, but since those cameras are there, I do not speed down those streets any longer. And I personally believe that it's a great benefit to have those cameras in our city. It's slowing down traffic in our city, whether you want to believe it or not. And if you've gotten a ticket, guess what? Stop speeding.
That's right.
We need money. And if this is, and I don't care, I hear all the news stories and it's a money grab. I hear people saying that we're trying to get money. It's all about the money. They can't say it, but I can say it is about the money. Our city needs money, and if this is a beneficial way to do it, and to keep these kids walking out here when the winter comes and they walk in the street, and to keep them safe, guess what? I will vote against whatever levy comes on and says, or whatever, not levy, I'm sorry, whatever comes on and says get rid of these cameras, I'm voting against it, and I'm telling all my neighbors to vote against it. And if you want to change our city, stop fighting things that are good for our kids and our city.
Yes, ma'am, you have a question?
Okay, I might not make friends here today. It's my first council meeting. I have a few neighbors here. I've been in Maple Heights 19 years. I don't know how much you all pay in taxes. I'm a single mom. I pay a lot of money in taxes to live in Dunham Road. Okay, I take very good care of my yard, my house. My neighbors know I do. For the renters out there, you take pride in where you live. We all need to take pride in our community and where we live. Okay, I had a renter that lived next door to me, destroyed that house. That house had to be gutted. Okay, so we're all paying taxes. I know how much I pay. Taxes are lower in Independence. Okay, where there's a million community things for children, for seniors, for everything. Okay, why are my taxes so high in Maple Heights when there's not a lot of community things for seniors, for children? That's not right. Okay, I know how much my taxes are, I just would like to know where they're going. Okay, another thing is, with the police chief, all respect to you, I could never be a cop because I'd shoot everybody. So with the importance of like, where to go, where to come to, I live alone, McDonald Park's behind my road, behind my house, you know how many times cars are sitting there all night? God knows what they're doing, okay? But I'm in nursing school, okay? And I take care of people that are HIV positive, that I could die from. I don't get paid because I'm a student. So with the interns that don't get paid, I don't know why they have to be paid. Because I work very hard going to clinicals 13 hours a week, taking care of people with diseases that could die. But it's a point of being there for our community and serving each other, okay? I don't get paid for a nursing school. So with the importance of the calls, and I know the east side's worse than the west side. Everybody says, oh, you live on Dunham Road, you're fine. Nope, there's crime everywhere. There's cops running through my backyard. There's kids running through my backyard. God knows what they're doing. So as a community, if this is what we need to do, I don't know how, if the levy should pass or not, so be it. But I just know as a person that's lived here 19 years, maybe not as long as all you seniors or everybody else, my taxes are really high, and I hope this levy makes a positive change, because I'm the person that lives paycheck to paycheck to paycheck, and I can't pay my bills every month. Thank you.
You gotta be kidding me, you're up here all the time. Keep it.
2/3 of the taxes go to the school system. People don't realize that there's a chart that was set here. We pay high taxes, but where does all that money go? 2/3 go to the school levy. That's the school takes. Yeah. 23 to 24% of the taxes you pay in this city goes to this city. That's all. And this city has just as many expenses as the school system. And we can't make it. And they got more than twice what we have.
Thank you, Mr. Halen. Thank you. We require Mr. Halen to 3 minutes when he talks to council. I think the mayor really gave you a wide array of questions, answers to many questions. This was a great gathering and a lot of intelligent questions. I have one more thing that I would like to do, and that would be to introduce you to a group of people who have stepped up. We have a chairperson and a co-chairperson who will be working with the city to promote the 2 levies that are on the ballot. And Mr. Grissom is somewhere here. George, come on up. George is our chairperson. His co-chair is Paulette, and we also have a treasurer for this citizens committee. Our treasurer is Jan. Jan's over there. There she is. There she is. She will collect the donations, and we will fund whatever we can do in order to promote these levies. You wanted to know how we're going to get the messages out? Well, we're hoping this committee can do it. George.
Thanks everybody for coming out here. Been a constituent of this community for 25 years. Been around when this community provided snow plowing for the elders, tool rental if we didn't have tools, they even show you how to keep it up. Leaf time's coming up to pick leaves up. The service department, nobody's really mentioned a whole lot about that. They're way overstressed. The guys are totally dedicated. You know, to pick the leaves up in the city, you'd have to man 2 guys on a truck, and a truck, put 3 trucks out. There's 6 guys. That leaves 2 guys for the rest of the city to, you know, do all the rest of the work. It's unconceivable the way in which they're still pushing through. I just felt compelled to try to do something in this manner that, you know, it doesn't matter how we got here or any kind of personal vendettas, anything of that nature. Nobody would ask for something if it wasn't necessary. Nobody likes to ask. We all don't like to ask for help. Nobody wants to know that we can't make it, that we can't do it ourselves, that we're a little bit ill right now. So this asking for help is a necessary thing right now. It's not going to cure all the ailments, but it's going to sustain us for a moment. It's going to get us through. When a house is burning down, you'd like the firemen to be there. You'd like the service people to come and take care of your drain when it's necessary. You'd like to be able to be safe in the community. Those are staggering numbers of what the police has to do with double the calls in today's day and age. So, tell your neighbors, tell your friends. Let's put aside certain things and try to keep us out of, a fiscal emergency. Do nothing, we can go there. What'll happen, I guess, then we can find out. But we can make a choice. We can make a choice to do something. Somebody did mention that the values of the properties were lowered. You are paying a little bit in taxes, then less. Well, if you sell your house right now to move, I guess you deal with it then. But maybe consider that little bit of tax money that you're paying less on your devalued property. That little bit can make up to, that you might have to put for this levy that might be $100 extra a month. And on the backs of the people that can't afford it, $100 a year, I'm sorry. Now see, isn't everybody delightfully surprised?
Everybody's awake.
So, it is about caring for the people that can't care. There are some people that won't help themselves. There are people that can't help themselves, but the people that can, let's do something and step up and try to make a difference. That's about all I can say. I think everybody did a swell job of putting information together, and everybody's spending their time from their lives to come here. And I really do hope that we can stay out of that fiscal emergency and we can maintain some pride and integrity, and everybody can work together and not work against each other. There's people that's been around in this city for a long time and know the workings. If anybody's involved with the city in any manner, now is time to put any kind of inklings away and look for the betterment of the unity as a one. Thanks, everybody.
Lenny has a little sign-up sheet going there if you're interested in helping out at all. Polls, signs, distribution of literature. We'd love to see you get involved. But you have been involved this evening, and we really appreciate it. Yourself doing the best. Wonderful job this evening. Thank you so much for being here.